KEMPER Profiler Tones and Talks, Season 2. Wow, this is amazing. Season 2 will be about the essential tones of electric guitar history up until now. We will be referring to the Legends Tribute Collection, which just was released in installment number 4. Legends Tribute Collection 4, and so this season will be called Legends Tributes. And here again, it's a pleasure and an honor with us again, Mr. Thomas Dill, who is also the creator of the Legends Tribute Collections, all of them. And we will begin this time with, of course, he just died, the legend, very important for electric guitar, Mr. Jeff Beck, and here's the video. That's Thomas' take on Jeff Beck's tone, realized with the KEMPER Profiler, and it's a tribute to Mr. Beck and his way of playing and his tone. And I think we will get to know all the details in a second. But I think especially with Mr. Jeff Beck, it's really important to understand how to handle the guitar for this, because he was the master of using the volume and the tone knobs and playing with the pick and playing with his fingers. And these techniques have an amazing impact on how the guitar can sound in conjunction with an amplifier. So over to Thomas, who will let us know, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's this one is a really hard one, or was a hard one for me. So because in another Tones and Talks episode, I said it's impossible to make the Jeff Beck sound, because you suggest you get this sound and then you can sound like Jeff Beck, but you don't. you never will sound like Jeff Beck. So you need 100 years of practice, maybe. And but this is so this what I've done is just the basics, the tools to come maybe close to this tone and to this sound. And I've took the song because we've ended as lovers, the lead guitar tone, and I focused on the melody sound. So the first melody, that's what I'm playing in the video. And let's go back in history and take a look at the original equipment, maybe. So I did a little bit of researching every time when I make these Legends Tribute collections. So it's always looking what does the guitar player used at this time. Maybe sometimes what does he use now. There's with Jeff Beck, it's really much difference. And so let's take a look. I will share my screen, and here we are. So just a few quick facts of this song and album. The composer of the song, because we've ended as lovers, is legendary Stevie Wonder. He worked with Jeff Beck, and they made, I think they wrote Superstition together, and Superstition was released on Stevie Wonder's album and was a huge hit. And to give something back, he composed "Cause We've Ended as Lovers" for Jeff Beck. It was released on the album Blow by Blow in 1975, recorded at Air Studios London, and the legendary Sir George Martin was the producer of this album. So the guitars I found out he used on this album were some 70s Stratocaster models, a 54 Gibson Les Paul, and a 58 Fender Telecaster with humbuckers. I didn't find some pictures of the Strat guitars that he used. So this is the Jeff Beck signature guitar, and he plays it. Here's a picture from live at Ronnie Scott's. He plays that, typical model live on stage. And this is the 58 Telecaster with humbuckers. I think he had Seymour Duncan humbuckers in there. And this is not the original one. It's a Fender custom shop model, which they sold sometimes some few years ago. And somebody said somewhere in the internet that Jeff Beck played the solo, of course, We've Ended as Lovers, with this Tele. I don't really know if it's true, but I've written that. And not I've written that, I read that.
You read that. Huh?
Yeah. And for the red for the red guitars, this is the Oxblood Les Paul, 54 Les Paul. This one started as a Les Paul Gold Top from 54, and it was modified from some guy, and Jeff Beck bought it after it was modified because he liked this sound. And this is the Les Paul on this picture of the album cover. And
do you know how it was modified? Just the pickups or
pickups and the finish? It was a gold top.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
It was in refinished in Oxblood red. And it has P90s. The old gold top Les Pauls from 54 had P90s, right. And it's got humbuckers in there. And here's a screenshot from the BBC archives. It's you find that on YouTube. It's a video, 15 minutes. I'll place the link below because this is really great. It's, I think, the first rig rundown ever. And Mr. Beck is using his, it's from 1974, and Mr. Beck's using his Les Paul and playing over this behind him. This is Ampeg amp, and I think it's a Fender Champ or something like that. Little Fender combo, and this back, which is leaning at the Ampeg, is a talk box, and he plays this talk box. It's a great video, really nice to watch for every guitar player, and he explains everything about guitar, why the pickups sound different, and in a very, very cool way. Really cool guy. So these are the guitars. Amps. He used Marshall tops, Univox cap, and maybe some Fender Tweed amps, but this is not really, I don't know if it's true. So he is known for using a Marshall JTM 45 head, a lower volume head, and non-master volume, and creating his tones with this Marshall head. And he played this head at the Ronnie Scott's gig also. In the newer days, he used on stage a JCM 2000 DSL50 dual super lead amp, which is, I think, in the German backline rental services, is the amp you can rent. So maybe he used that one, and he creates his great tone with that amp too. And another one, I think it was his guitar tech who worked at Marshall at that time, or some friend tech or something like that, who created the vintage modern amp in, I don't know, maybe 2012 or something like that, when it came out. And he played it at the Ronnie Scott's too. So vintage modern and JTM 45 is on that legendary DVD recording. Now the effects. Yeah, at that time, 1974 and 1975, there was not much effect pedals or no rec units or something like that. And he used a wah pedal, overdrive boost, and maybe the tone bender, which he used in the Yardbirds. And again, a screenshot from the BBC where he plays. Look at the cables. Look at the cables. No high-end Vovox cables or something like that. It's really the gray ones. They sound great. And a Crybaby. I don't know what's that on the left, volume pedal or something like that. But it's not with cables. I really don't know. And the overdrive is a color sound overdrive. Here's a newer version. It's just, he explains it in the video. He used this as a boost and sometimes just boosting single notes to give them a little bit of more sustain. And here is the tone bender, one of the tone benders. There are different ones, so it's just a fuzz pedal with two knobs, level, attack. So this means volume and gain. So this is the research, and now the hard work.
I just want to say two things. Yeah. If you're into pedals, and especially into the fuzz pedals and the tone bender and the history there, I recommend the JHS show with Josh Scott from JHS Pedals, because he knows even more about pedals and the history than there is. It's just amazing. And I think there would be some things where he might discuss Jeff Beck as well. Yeah. And there was something else about no, just go on. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So now the version that I created. So I switch over to the rig manager screen. Here we go. And here's the rig. You find the Legends Tribute collection, just for your info, in the rig manager at rig packs. Then go down. There are the older ones, Kemper Legends Tribute collection with 90 rigs, and there are the newer ones, so the collection number 4 with 30 rigs. Here you go. And Jeff Beck, you will see it. We've named it always the first name with 3 letters and the last name with 3 letters. So here's the signal chain. There is active is a wah pedal, but just in case with bypass at stop. So when I don't move the pedal, or when you don't have any pedal connected to the profiler, it doesn't work at all. So you don't need it really for this sound. I just prepared it because he had a wah pedal in the video, and he uses wah pedals. Then we have the Kemper Fuzz, Studio EQ, and Natural Reverb. The amp I took was a Super Lead 100 from 1970 from the Michael Britt rig pack. It's a great sounding profile, and I did some comparison with some other profiles from the Super Lead, the JTM 45 profiles, and another SLP 100 profiles, and this for me this suited the best to his tone, recorded tone. And turn, like every time, turn everything off. So here is, oh no, wait a minute. Something you might be, when you turn that profile on, you might be confused. When you play with a guitar, volume at 10. It's a really high distorted tone. And this is absolutely crucial for this Jeff Beck tone. You need to roll off the volume of the guitar, because he this is something I read. Also, he always play, or not much played at volume 10 with his Strat. Almost with the lower volumes at till 8 or maybe sometimes lower with his Strat. So volume 10 is not good to get this sound. And if you turn everything off now, this is the pure Marshall. Very dynamic sounding, very important for that sound. And I added a little bit of natural reverb just to get a little bit room sound. And then some studio EQ just to match the frequency range of the recording. And I added a high cut at 7.5K and a low cut at 78 Hertz and a little bit of mid boost at 1.4K, and the high frequencies of cut down at 3.5, but just minus 0.9 dB. So it's just a smooth modification on the frequency range. And now the Kemper fuzz. So the Kemper fuzz adds some amount of drive. You hear it, the noise. And gain is at 4.0 and volume at 0. Here are the settings, octa at 0, mix at 100%. And then for me, the test to get the right amount of guitar volume is this passage where he plays the chord. When you have the volume at 10, it sounds that. And with my guitar, with just 57 Häusl single coil pickups at nearly a bit before 7, it sounds great. So here it clears up. You can play with your fingers. Oh. And it's very important when you hit the strings harder that it, something like screams. And in the next moment, when you play with your thumb, or when you play soft with your thumb, it should clean up very, very well and have a really clean tone. And for me, with the Marshall, so when I turn the fuzz off and turn the volume up, the sound with the Marshall only doesn't have this dynamic feel and screaming and creamy tone. You hear it. It's a bit, has a, I would say, less character. And now with the fuzz on and volume on 7. And for me,
and this is something we might chime in and add that's very unique to the Profiler as well, I think, because well, it was one of the best studios at the time, and just to put it into perspective. We're here at our homes with just one device that is capable of doing that. And I mean, amps and pedals and fuzz stuff is now in all the digital machines. Of course, that's nothing special. But the dynamics, how the guitar is converted, and that even the smallest nuances, if you just open up the guitar to a half, not even one or 1.5, is so well translated so that you can do these things, because that would be the litmus test for all the other machines out there. If they are able to deliver that, what you're doing right there, with a gentle touch. You know, in Germany we say you can even hear the dirt under the fingernails, so to say. And there's no kick in of a noise gate, there's no noise floor or whatever. It's all very pristine and fine and nice, and it just delivers this gentle touch. And that's something really, really special as well. It's also special for Jeff Beck compared to many other guitar players at the time who tried to create the most possible impact with a lot of attack, and the guitar always open and more boost and more whatever. And he was doing less and less. I just wanted to bring that in, because that's also gear-wise and technically a real challenge to be able to deliver something like that.
And I would go further on, because the volume knob is one thing that he used. And another thing is the sound of the fingers. And when you play with the thumb, when I'm playing with the thumb, it sounds like that. When I play with my first finger, it sounds different. The middle finger, and then the ring finger. This is my really warm sounding finger. So you can maybe close your eyes and hear which finger I'm using. Ring finger. First finger. Really sounds really nasty for me. I don't know why, but but it's great to have these 4 tools and something which transports the sound that I'm giving into to the listener. And this is something what Jeff Beck really was the master of the master in doing that. And he really didn't like compressors, because it cuts out his dynamic range, and he has this huge dynamic range, and he wanted to play at this dynamic range. And this is really a great thing. This is something I really, when I'm doing some reviews, I always test these things with volume knob. How does it react? How does it react to my fingers? I know how they sound and how they sound with this guitar. So it's really a great one then. And this is something, the profiler does this, but you need to choose the profile who does this. So some profiles are less dynamic, some profiles are really high dynamic, and so that's the reason why I took the from Michael Britt's pack the SLP instead of the JTM 45, as it was the original one. You have a pedal there?
Yes, I have a pedal there, and at this point I also want to mention the compression knob in the amp section.
Yep.
If you can briefly show that the people know where to look for this, because that was one of my most favorite feature since day one. And
here we are.
If you just click on amplifier, right, and then there's the 4th in the 2nd row, That's this compressor. It sits in the amp section and does something completely different from all the other compressors, because it just, with this you can basically adjust the difference between your distorted tone when you are open with the guitar and you hit hard, and the volume of the tone when you close the guitar to whatever, 1 or 2, and so you can have all the access to the various tones, but you can determine how much volume difference there will be.
I can show it. I turned the fuzz off. So this is volume 10, and this is volume 5.
And now leave it like this and put it up.
At a higher level. Volume 10, volume 5.
There it is.
This is some people say the word amp saturation. So this is the thing when you play with a low volume, low watt amp, and it compresses at even lower volume levels, and you have these sounds more even, and the play feel is really great on that. But I didn't, for the Jeff Beck tone, I really wanted to have the compression really down, and with the fuzz turned on, you have already some compression, and it boosts the lower volume. So, but without any overdrives or something, what do you have there?
It's because we're talking, and that's also profiler related in a way, because we're talking about volume knob and lowering the volume of the guitar through. And this should be a shout out to Thomas Blug at this point, who is the person who really brought the understanding into this thing here, what Jeff Beck is doing there, because Thomas is also master of using the volume knob.
And master of playing Jeff Beck style.
That's
Great.
true as well. Yeah, that's true. And I picked a lot of stuff from him, and I learned from him just by having the chance to be close when he was doing his thing. And then I realized that this is really where the most beauty of the guitar tone lies. If you lower, if you let the amp run high, and if you lower the guitar volume knob, you can get so many then juicy and spongy and funky stuff, and you can even increase that. That's what I always thought, because at some point you find something you would like to come back to easily. So if the guitar is at 3:30, whatever, and then you play a solo, it's open, you're on 10, and you want to find back, and you find again this plays 3:30, and it's impossible. So I thought there should be a switch, because there are no rusted or whatever programmable guitar pods. And then I thought, yeah, but if I would do this, I would have to put this in all my guitars. And then I thought, why not put the volume pod outside of the guitar? So this is nothing else but a volume pod, which I can hit with a switch, and I have the guitar lowered, and I can even increase this on the guitar, so the whole curve gets different. And if I switch it on, it's open, and if I switch it again, I'm again at a sweet clean sound. For the studio, or especially for live, this is pretty good. And to more complicate the volume knob thing, well, they say out there, for humbuckers you should have 500K volume knobs. For Strats single coils, 250K. So I had this old Dan Electro, and the volume pod died, and I realized, I cut a long story short, that they use 100K volume pods. And I thought before, what's the difference? Oh, I had to learn. It's a huge difference, because I put humbuckers into the Dan Electro and kept the old volume pods, and it was a very warm, spongy sweet sound. And when I changed the volume knob to a 500 because it's humbuckers, the sound was completely different, especially when I was closing the volume knob. And then I found through research the old Silvertone guitars and the old Danelectros, they had between 100 and 150 kilo ohms on their volume knobs. That's why the lipsticks don't sound so nasty in the Danelectros. And so I switched the Danelectros and the humbuckers to a 100K pot, and here I have now the option to get both. So this is the ultra nerdy thing to talk about. But when we're talking about tone like that, I think this is really important because it makes all the difference, as we see with Jeff Beck and what you've dialed in there with the profiler.
Another thing what you maybe can do if some guitar players don't like to play with the volume knobs, you can place your volume pedal in front of maybe the fuzz or the stack. This is Rick. Volume pedal location input at this time. So if I would have, I don't have now, a volume pedal connected, then I can make these, oh, you don't see it. I was too fast.
No problem.
Here we are. Rig, location, volume pedal, location. So you can choose here pre-stack, post-stack output, and input is then the one where you have complete control over the volume or the gain volume which feeds the fuzz booster or amplifier. So this is something comparable to the volume knob on the guitar.
Plus, you have this range level, this range control there also.
Yeah.
And you can dial in a certain range so that you have on the heel position, you could have your perfect position for the volume. And you would have it easy to dial back to a certain low volume tone as well, very easily. That's also handy when, especially live. And but it sounds different.
I will show you. I just changed my pedal value. Now I think I have a volume pedal here. So here we are. Volume pedal is connected, and I will share the screen. Okay, so this is volume off and fading in. So now I was playing with the volume pedal. You don't see the position of the pedal, but you can create more different stuff, intense stuff when you have the volume on the pedal. So you can add quick some higher distortion. So it's a really expressive thing to use. And what you meant, the range parameter, so we can have it at -1.9. So this is now, it's the heel position. Wait a minute.
Right. So you can put your soft point, the clean point, basically.
Yeah.
Clean point, like maybe -3 or so, -2 point something usually. That's where I have it, and you just kick to the heel without any thinking required, and you have your clean point.
Yeah. So this is the clean point, heel position, toe position, and between. I'm going back. Now I'm going back slowly from the toe to the heel position.
Yeah.
So that works also. And it's great to use then. The positive thing is you can use your fingers for playing and use the foot for adjusting your sound. So yeah, go further, try that out.
Absolutely. And yeah, especially when you're also singing in between or so, and you have to kick stuff and dial in stuff and sing and play. These things make life so much easier, and you're more controlled and more, well, it's a consistent situation you're working with then. That helps in some points. Sometimes it's good to have some uncontrollable stuff going on, but in certain cases it's good if you have a consistent situation where you can always rely on, especially live. Yeah. Cool.
So yeah, that's all about from my side about the tone and the searching for this really holy grail Jeff Beck tone, which is about 50% the equipment and 150% the guitar player.
Absolutely. And but if we then from here take a look where we could take it, I mean, we have the chance to recreate the possibilities he had very well. The mastery, of course, is in the playing and in the person. But from there, we can take it to adding extra muscle. We had it in the last episode with morphing, for example.
Yeah.
So if you would bring in then also, when the tone bender is on and you increase a little bit the gain and you open up the whole thing with a little bit of cirrus reverb and some delay, for example, you can create amazing tonescapes and so expressive playing that's unbelievable. But you should do that and try that. And maybe, you guys could show us where you would take the sound further on. Just take it from here and go on and make some videos and throw the links in the comments below, because share what you're doing might be an inspiration for everybody else as well. And that's what we hope to achieve also. Provide a little bit of inspiration and joy and fun to dig deeper and find your own tone. Yeah. Well, Thomas, some final words, or did we say everything? We did even say more words than the required words today, I guess.
Than we thought we would do, as always. Watch the videos. Listen to Jeff Beck's records. Listen to my favorite one of I have really much. Loud Hailer is one of a great modern Jeff Beck record. The Yardbirds are great. Live at Ronnie Scott's is great. Yeah, it's very much. And listen to the solo of Blaze of Glory. Jeff Beck.
Yeah. True. Right.
Yeah. Okay, these are my famous last words.
Awesome. Yeah. Very important. And also, not to forget the playlist on Spotify. You find all the inspirators, the original tracks, the songs, which led to the Legends Tribute Collections tones. And we are totally psyched because of this. We are in the second episode of that podcast for Kemper. And more to come. And see you soon, and try this at home.
Bye.